Hey guys, in today's video I want to show you how to warm up for tennis. Whether it be a match or practice, you got to be properly warmed up. And the first thing you got to do, and this doesn't have to be on a tennis court, you got to run. Very gently jog for a couple of minutes to loosen the body up. Now it's important that when you do this, after you get loosened up a little bit, you mimic the movements you're going to be doing on a tennis court. So what I want you to do is move sideways like this. Side steps. Make sure the intervals are short. Do the other side as well. And now involve the arms. So you're gonna do these crossover steps and move the arms side to side, which will get your upper body going as well. And I do it the same thing on the other side. Now you're gonna start doing this to loosen up that shoulder a little bit. And you do it on the other side as well. And now we're gonna do a little exercise that's gonna involve both the lower body and the upper body. It's gonna look like this. I'm gonna put the arms to the side. And I'll change direction, go the other way. Now, I'm not a big fan of stretching before practice or before a match. I'm a fan of stretching afterwards. When I'm warming up for tennis, I like my exercises to be dynamic. And one great thing you can do, hold on to the net and I'll just swing your leg up and down like this. This will warm up your hip area, which is very important for tennis, and make sure that you do both sides. Once you're done with that, you're going to do the same exercise laterally. And this will work on your groin area. Now, I should have done this a lot more in my active playing career because I had chronic groin injuries. And part of the reason was that I didn't warm up this area of my body properly. And make sure you do the other side as well. And now you do the exact same thing with your arms. You go laterally across like this. This will warm up your shoulders. And also you do it forward, backward. This will work more on your rotator cuff. And make sure the abs are nice and loose. So you're going to circle your hips in this way to loosen up those abs, those side abs, and even the lower back muscles. And guys, if you want to warm up your shoulders, probably there's nothing better than a band. And you can get this anywhere, and the exercises are quite simple. Now make sure that when you're doing these exercises that they're dynamic as well, and don't be afraid to do them fast. So if you're going back like this, you can do it at quite a fast tempo in order to mimic the movements you're going to be doing on a tennis court. And now the great thing about this is you can mimic every stroke. So you can do forehand, you can do backhand, you can do two-handed backhand. And volleys are going to work the same way. You mimic the volley movement with the band. And the same thing on the backhand side. You can even do serve. Just tie a knot with the band. Make sure the length is okay. And now you do a serve warm-up. Now, one additional exercise you can do with the band for people who have kind of a stiff shoulder, something that I saw from Caroline Wozniacki, and I've been doing it ever since, is the following exercise. You start with the arms extended like this. Make sure that the band is stretched out. Now you go over your head, and I'll back over your head this way, all the way down, and then back over the other way. You do this about 10 times, and it's a great way to loosen up the shoulders. So guys, when you're warming up, nothing prepares you better than mimicking the exact movements you're going to be doing in a practice court or a match court in your warm-up session. So a simple thing that you can do is grab your racket. This doesn't have to be done on the court. You can do this anywhere and simply start moving around, mimicking tennis-specific movements. So I'm going to start off with some lateral movements with my forehand and my backhand side. Do the same thing moving forward and backward, 10 shots, but alternate between forehands and backhands. And guys, you're going to get out of breath. It's exactly what you need prior to a tennis match or even prior to a tennis practice. Get your heart rate up. What a lot of people don't do is do high intensity in their warm-up, and then once they step on a practice court or a match court, there's going to be a lot of high intensity there. So high intensity needs to be there even in your warm-up session so your body can get used to it. You can also do a drill where you're working on your volleys and your overhead. Simply run up, mimic hitting a forehand volley, and back up. Make sure you jump off your back foot, hit the overhead, and then back up for a backhand volley. And do this 10 times. Now the serve is not a throwing motion, but throwing a ball or throwing a frisbee is a perfectly way to warm up your arm for tennis. And make sure that whatever you're throwing, you're gonna catch it as well. Oh, oh, oh yes! And a great way to warm up your core and your body's rotation is to throw a medicine ball. Just make sure that the medicine ball is light so that you don't hurt yourself. You see my forehead? You see that sweat pouring down? This is how you know that you're warmed up. A lot of players, they warm up, I'm sorry to say, in kind of a lazy way. They don't even break a sweat. So think about the word warm up. This is what you're doing. You're warming up in order to play tennis the most efficient way. And not only that, but also can serve as injury prevention. So a warm up should be good enough so that you break a sweat. And guys, what I just showed you is more of a professional level warm-up. This is what you see on tour. This is how players prepare for every single practice and every single match. I understand that you have time constraints and you might not be able to do this entire warm-up, but you can pick one segment out of here, whether you're doing the dry swings, whether you're running around the court, or whether you're doing bands. Any of this by itself is a lot better than not warming up at all. And remember, the only way to tell whether you're warmed up properly for tennis is if you break a sweat. That was the Pete Sampras. You guys remember this? Pete Sampras used to wipe his forehead with his finger and then you should just flick it like this. This is a perfect opportunity to do the Sampras sweat flick. Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to warm up. Carla, you want to go?
I'm going!
Where are you going? Into the net? Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to warm up.